Good morning, everyone. This may be a longer video than I like to do anymore, but I think it's important with all the videos and TikToks that I am seeing over uh, the government not opening the government, let's say Congress, the baboons, but I think I have found an explanation what's going on because it's overwhelming to realize that the American citizens are going to be traumatized not by the first of the month. In many aspects, what is going on and what they're trying to pass, in my opinion, won't be passed. It's going to come to a dead end. Okay? First, you got to realize that stores have to get EBT licenses renewed, and I believe it's quarterly. And they have to be able to access that agency to renew their license. So they'll have no choice but to refuse anyone that does have EBT. So be aware of that, okay? Another thing is stores and pharmacies have learned in since COVID, okay, that their store insurance, okay, they will lose it with too much shoplifting. Some stores choose to close their doors during high impact times, okay? So if your store have closed in your area in the past, it's mostly due to the store insurances, their policy, losing that, and financially, you know, how the government's been going anyways. You know, people can't afford to shop, that can take a store out, okay? See, today people cannot afford food, housing, health insurance. Yeah, you have to have it, but you pay your premiums, but you don't go to the doctor or to the hospital unless it's a major emergency due to the copays. They're so high. Now, I know some of you don't have copays. So, and that's great. That's great. You know, there's our baby. And we have to deal with it. We have to wait this out. And I'm tired of waiting. It's just been trauma after trauma. And we're all trying to hold our families together and help our families. And maybe some of you are helping your families or your neighbors, you know. Some people don't have friends and families. They're loners. Life has done them wrong that way, in my opinion. See, today was the last day for employees to re-sign up their medical insurance. We're tax-paying Americans right now. And we did ours, and ours is going to be $116 more a month for health insurance. So that, of course, that means I'm not going to use my health insurance if I can get out of it. Bad enough, the pharmacy copays, you know, and copays were raised to 30%. And I've been complaining about 20%. So it is what it is, you know, but that's like $7,000 for medical insurance a year that we choose not to use due to the copays. I really wish we had a national health insurance where everyone was entitled to it that's American citizen. See, with what's going on with the food stamps, I really consider it an act of cruelty. Not to use the emergency money that is in the agriculture department. That's $5 billion sitting there. Okay? To continue what Trump has in the CR, which is the continuing resolution, while they work on these different things like getting undocumented citizens, I want to be nice here, off of our systems. See, your food stamps is determined in a lot of them departments underneath the agriculture department. Covers a lot of different things, a lot of different programs. So we enacted that, used that, Trump did with COVID, okay? And if he hadn't have, because a lot of people were laid off, a lot of people, it was only essential workers that could even draw a paycheck, and it fed America, okay? If he hadn't have, we would have had a Great Depression. That's all there was to it, So, and yeah, I believe in our military, and I support our boys. No matter where they have to go, I'm praying for them. They are our security to our nation. I don't think they should be fighting battles for other nations. Our allies, yes, but I think we need to pick and choose our battles. And sometimes that's over, can we afford it? And our military is not getting paid. Yes, they'll get paid once the government does reopen. But they don't pay their bills now, okay? But see, I feel that Congress shouldn't be receiving pay either if the military isn't getting paid. I also believe that they shouldn't be paid any more than our military boys. Yes, I'm looking at my notes because these are my feelings that I wrote down. I believe if they didn't collect the pay they collect, that they would quit pussyfooting around on some of these bills and amendments that they are in appropriation, and deciding whether we're going to fund this or are we going to tweak it or what. I think that they would sit in that chair, spend some time talking with each other, and come to a better agreement, or toss it out a lot faster than they do now, collecting a wage of top dollar. Okay? What's going on right now is hurting our taxpayers and our social safety net agencies. I'm talking food stamps, Medicaid, Medicare. There's a lot of them, Meals on Wheels, Food Harvest, for the food bags. Yeah, it's just touching on everything. See, none of us want undocumented citizens using our social safety net program. And it does keep anyone on them programs from getting a raise to that program, like a raise in their food stamps or in their housing or utilities. They could get more money if we didn't have them all on this system. Okay? And the bank is broke. And it's broke from 63% of these undocumented citizens being on our system. That's basically double what our American citizens are collecting. So, I'm not into supporting certain countries either. I just don't believe in that. I mean, we have the UN, and we pay into it. What are they doing with the money? Why aren't they using that money to help those in need during wartime? Why do we have to cough up the money to help them? It should go into a general fund to help them all out with these issues that arise, like that. See, for 4 years, Congress has not been held accountable for their votes to destroy our country. And that's what it is. They're destroying our country. Well, they were destroying our country with an auto pen aimed at American citizens. Now, see, some of them things were stopped, okay? They were stopped by executive order. Okay, there was a big one on the social safety net enacted by Biden, bless his heart. The auto pen was enacted by the auto pen, which is hurting our American citizens that are on the system. And it was not to start till July 2025. What was put into bills. And you can look these up for yourself, and see exactly what has been done. There is many auto pen amendments and bills that were passed. Right now, though, 0 of the 12 full appropriation bills to fund our government for 2026 have not been enacted or passed. During this time, though, my concern, I'm saying, is no applications for Medicaid, SNAPs, which is your food stamps, disability application, food stamp applications, renewal of the store's EBT licenses, mortgages and loan approvals, and I believe that would be with HUD or a federal loan agency. But the banks are federal, don't forget that. Medication renewals, like my daughter's blood infusions that she needs to keep her organs alive, was cut. A friend of hers, her chemo was cut for her cancer treatments. Inspections for EPA and FDA. Honey, that is your food and your water, and it's not being inspected. Stopped. Watch what you're eating, what you're ingesting. I buy bottled water, but yet the bottle companies for water isn't being inspected, so who knows what they're putting in them water bottles. Just saying. See, these agencies usually have a 30-day monetary overhead, okay? So when the government shuts down, they're good for 30 days, okay? It don't trip no system, okay? Our government is going to trip that system November 1st unless we get some sort of agreement. See, these agencies are all checking in saying they are broke. They're cashed out. And this happened before with President Clinton. I don't know how many of you even remember or were even born yet when it happened. Okay. He finally, on the 26th day, signed a continuing resolution that pays the bills for the next year. But see, it's based on what the budget was the year before while they work on it. There's no extra money added to it or anything like that. A clean CR, continuing resolution, does not contain policy riders or politically motivated changes. Basically, it means no pay raises for Congress, no CRs to continue over a year, just keep everything the same till we work out these glitches or twitches or whatever, but tweak the daggone thing, okay? Now, our Congress has voted for the 13th time no to continuing the current CR. Congress is supposed to be in agreement to work for the American people. So I was like looking it over because I'm like, I'm not seeing something. I'm not hearing something. And you can't believe the news stations and you can't believe half these people on YouTube, well, over time, who you can believe if they bring the receipts, and show you, what's going on. So anyway, HR 5371 is two different CRs that have been combined that would extend government funding for us, for the USA. So far, 3 CRs have been passed, but they're only resolutions. It's more like kick the can down the road situation. It is not an answer, okay? It's an appropriation bill that has passed, okay, for an agreement to work on it in the future. Okay, so I looked up 5371 and I read it. And I'm eye-weary from reading it and researching different things on the matter. And it comes down to what they have combined is the security of Congress members, Supreme Court justice, and executive branch officials. Their private duty detail to keep them safe. It keeps D.C. running, and that includes the repairs to the White House inside and out. And the White House was in severe disrepair in some areas, and it totally had to be gutted and redid in the past for people not keeping up the White House. And that is the Capitol. That's our White House. It needs to be grand, It needs to reflect the United States people, citizens. HR 5371 has several public health, Medicare, Medicaid authorities and programs. Okay? I'll get into this a little bit. It covers various veterans authorities and programs. It covers the U.S. Grain Standard Act. Okay, you don't want moldy grains, let me tell you. Okay, but we don't have no inspections right now. Don't forget that. It includes the Department of Agriculture reporting, mandatory reporting, price of our goods, what we're paying, And I don't think we've had the truth on what prices really are, I think some things are not transparent. It includes several departments of Homeland Security related to cybersecurity. It includes the Department of Homeland Security and the DOJ, which is the Department of Justice's, over unmanned aircraft systems like balloons and drones. Okay? We don't need no more of them balloons going over us, and we don't want to see any of them drones. I know I don't. You know, laws need to be enforced. It also has HR. I'm going to keep saying this bill number so you can go look it up yourself. HR 5371. It's about the conviction of sexual abuse and human trafficking. Okay. They catch a lot of people, but are they being arrested? Well, convicted. Okay. Authorities related to the Commodity Future Trading Commission. There's our tariffs, you know. And that has to do with the whistleblower program, too. And the Defense Production Act of 1950. Now, these were combined together. They were two separate bills. DOJ and DOD and agriculture. Okay. Which has to do with a lot of different things. You know, tariffs, food stamps, your health insurance. Okay. Right off. And I'm reading down the list and seeing these things. I'm like, I can see pay raises behind the social safety networks. Okay, if you work for it, you deserve a raise. Okay, that's all I'm going to say there. Do your job, okay? You know, a lot of you don't know these workers were laid off or let go, and agencies have been running half-staffed. And that's since Biden. 4 years they worked half-staffed. They're still working half-staff if they don't close the door on Social Security office or something like that right now. It has been taking up to 3 months to get benefits approved at the Social Security office. And some places with the disability, it's taken 3 years. Okay? Maybe a wage increase would inspire them to do their job. Okay? But really, the government needs to separate the Agriculture Department from the DOD and the DOJ departments instead of combining two bills into one. Otherwise, the Democrats are never going to concede to this continuing resolution, and the Democrats are not currently in favor of any spending for the Defense Department or the Department of Justice. I just want to know what baboons up in Congress decided to combine this CR, these separate CRs, into one. It ain't going to pass. Not with that setup. There's no way. If you're politically not for wars, you're not going to pass that bill. Trump can say he's not for wars, but, you know, under the DOD is SpaceX. And that's going to keep us secure. That will stop a lot of cyber security issues. It's a shame that people aren't looking past their own state's ability to feed their people, to provide them with good health care, and want to say no to that because they don't want to fund a SpaceX command center, whatever. You know, people are losing jobs. Stores are going to close. And I think they need called out on it for combining these two CRs. Sure, that just kicks the can down the road. But Americans are going to have their entitlements. And I don't care if you want to use a different word. We're Americans. We're free. We pay taxes for them entitlements, not just for ourselves, but for every American citizen out there that needs it. See, America has a heart, and the heart is for us, Americans first. We'll worry about this other stuff a little bit later. Tariffs are supposed to be paying off our debts. No, Congress playing with it. So, Trump's doing what he does best as a businessman. Okay? I would not say he come into office back in the day for, his previous 4 years, knowing much about the political world, and the workings of it. Okay. But this time, he does have a man behind him, J.D. Vance, that does know the ins and outs. Trust me, this man. That man could outsmart anyone, considering his full background. I ain't going there because he was here in Ohio, one of our politicians, and I've seen what the man can be capable of doing. But have a heart. Help your families out. Check on your elderly neighbors. Do what you can to help the home front. And I'm talking your personal home front. Because we got some baboons running this country that they got their bananas. Where's ours? Hello? Okay, talk at you later. Had to get this off my chest. Love you. And I'll update you on my life scenario on another day. Have a great one. Bye-bye.